So welcome, Zahra. I'm going to unmute you. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. And you just, yeah, so I know it looks like I'm out of frame. I'm just trying to get this perfect right now. My laptop is just giving me a little bit of issues, technical difficulties early in the morning. So I have to log
Yeah.
in from my phone.
Okay, no, that we can hear you nice and clearly, and we can see you. So thanks very much for making a plan, and sorry about the technical difficulties. So
No problem.
thank you very much for joining us. Can we maybe start with having you just introduce yourself briefly and tell us about what you do currently at Standard Bank, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so you guys just heard my name. It's Zahra Singh. I'm currently on a data science learnership at Standard Bank. So there's a difference between the learnership and a graduate program. The graduate program is a little bit more refined than a learnership. So with my learnership, I'm gonna get an added certification with systems development. So yeah, so that's where I am at. I recently graduated in with a degree in economics, with a BCom degree in economics. So it is my program is open to everyone. Whereas the graduate program is specifically data science and computer science graduates. Um so far, it's been a really good experience. I learned a lot at the beginning. At the beginning, it was relatively slow, just because we needed to establish where people were in terms of their technical capabilities and stuff like that. But I've been with a training provider that's given me a lot, a lot in terms of the work that they've given us, the knowledge that they've given us. I've learned quite a few languages that I never thought I'd be able to do. I'm on my way to getting a Python certification and a Hadoop certification, which I'll be writing this year. Python, I think I'm writing on the 12th, if I'm not mistaken, 12th of April. So that's pretty cool. So I walk away with a lot of certifications. In terms of the workplace experience, we try my line manager specifically try and align to the curriculum that we'd have going with our training provider, and give us work in line with that. But mainly because so I'm in a space called group internal audit, where we basically audit the auditors, and make sure that everyone's following processes and sticking to like regulations and stuff like that. There's a lot of data work involved. Specifically with us, it's big data. So I excel in like Hive and SQL and those kind of things. Recently, we've done predictive analytics for insurance. We've created a model to predict when and where complaints would come through. So we're hoping that's going to be part of our transformation business model and go into this idea of platform business. So there is quite a few things that we cover. The other component is not necessarily the data science component, but more of a business component. So it's that overall understanding of this is my business, this is how it works, and this is what I can get out from implementing data solutions.
I'm on mute. Sorry. Great. That's a really comprehensive explanation. And I see Lulama's just joined the stream, so I'm going to add her, and then we'll carry on the conversation shortly.
Sure.
Hi, Lulama. How are you?
Hi, Paul. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. No problem. Sorry for being late. I was struggling to connect using my laptop, so I just had to find the phone quickly. Yeah.
Okay,
Hello.
it sounds like Zahra also had some technical difficulties, so it sounds like technical difficulties all around, but no problem at all. Thank you very much for joining us. Zahra's just introduced herself and told us a little bit about what she's doing at Standard Bank. Would you like to do the same, to introduce yourself to all of the data science students out there listening to the stream?
No problem. So my name is Lulama. I am originally from PE, which is formerly known now as Gcakasi. So I joined the bank last year through the graduate program. And yeah, so I moved to Joburg to be closer to work. And the beginning of this year, I was finally placed in credit data science.
Cool. Thank you so much. So, would you maybe explain to those listening the difference between the learnership and the graduate program at Standard Bank? I'll ask you, Lulama.
So Paul, I'm not exposed. I've never been exposed to the. Are you talking about the learnership in Standard Bank specifically?
Yes, that's right. Well, maybe I should ask that differently then. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how the graduate program works and how people can apply, and then I'll ask Zahra to explain the learnership.
Okay, so yeah, so I was about to say that I've never been on a learnership with Standard Bank. I just purely joined it through the graduate program. So how I applied was through their website. So they have a website and they kept advertising on social platforms like Facebook. So that's how I saw it. And also I did have friends who've joined the bank through the graduate program. So I was aware of it. So I followed the links on the websites and then I applied. So I applied for the data science graduate program that I'm in. So there's an application there. You just follow the guidelines. It's very easy to follow. And then there were several interviews thereafter. I think one telephonic interview, and then that was followed by a personal sort of face-to-face interview where I had to fly into Joburg and then sort of prepare a presentation, do an interview, chat with, the various business stakeholders and the various business unit heads. And yes, and then after that, they, hired various graduates, and then that's how I joined the bank. And then I joined the graduate program, and it began on the 3rd of February, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and do you know how many other graduates there are at Standard Bank that have joined with you?
So in my program, there is 12 of us. And then overall, I think there was about 100 and something, 150 something graduates. And that is across the various business units and then across the various countries, because Standard Bank exists in several countries outside of South Africa. Yeah.
Yes, Ed Jordan spoke on the stream yesterday, and he was saying that the graduate program operates across a number of countries. And Zahra, would you tell us a little bit more about how the learnership works for those interested in joining?
Sure. So it's a very similar process to applying for the graduate program. It's on the website. Generally, when the ads go out, they'll send a link as well. So you go onto the link, you apply as per usual, upload your CV, your transcripts, all of those kind of things. I didn't have a rigorous interview process as Lulama, but I had one virtual interview where you're literally talking to a screen. So it kind of feels surreal because you kind of talking to yourself, but it's interesting because what they'll do is they use that and then people can review it. People on the panel can review your answers at any time where they have free spaces in their diary or when they want to go back and see, are you a good fit? Then we had the psychometric assessments, those kind of things. And then I signed my contract on the 1st of March in 2020. I worked for all of a week, and then we went into lockdown. So, but yeah, it was a really cool process. I mean, my laptop got delivered to me at home. Data cards got delivered to me at home. So it was. I mean, they really do take care of you, when you are part of the bank. Yeah.
I keep leaving myself on mute. That sounds like a good journey. So I'd like to ask each of you about something that you've learned now entering the working world at Standard Bank that you would like to share with maybe prospective people looking to join Standard Bank, or maybe even more generally students looking to make their way in data science as heading into the professional world. Maybe Lulama, you can start, and then I'll hand over to Zahra.
Okay, cool. So one thing I must mention in particular is the importance of making connections, and how as soon as you join the bank, you must start immediately. So if I can reflect, one of my mistakes was not paying attention to that initially. So right now, as prospects, even before you join the bank, you must form relationships between each other because you never know where each and every one of you might end up. I remember there was a time when I was struggling with some piece of work, and I mean, I soldiered on and I did solve the problem eventually. But then when I was having a chat with a friend thereafter, who was sort of, solving the same problem, but because we're in different business units, like we never had the chance to sort of just catch up and, bounce off ideas. So she told me that she was basically solving the same problem, but because she had asked someone to help her, it took her like less than a day, whereas it took me a week to solve a similar problem. So you know how if we had sort of form a better relationship where we catch up regularly, there would have been sort of a space for us to share, the problems that we're working on. And, she would have helped me out. And then, I would have solved the problem, in a shorter space of time. So forming relationship is very important, and it can accelerate your future years after. Because, if I form a relationship with Zara now, and we meet in the near future, and she's somewhere where I think I can join and sort of add value, that could be very beneficial to both me and her. So that's one thing I have to stress. Thank you.
And you, Zahra?
Okay, so I have to agree with Lulama. Personally, I was very afraid to even apply at Standard Bank. Given, like, I'll tell you why. My almost all the members of my family have worked at some sort of business related to Standard Bank. I mean, my mom's worked at Standard Bank. I've got cousins who worked at Standard Bank. I've got aunts and uncles who worked at Standard Bank. Most of my family has worked at Liberty, which is now, which is part of the Standard Bank group as well. So it was kind of like, do I really want to go in there thinking, oh, I only got in here because I have family members. But don't be afraid to make a name for yourself. I mean, I've pushed through a lot of it. It was a personal journey to come through it and say, actually, I'm here because I'm qualified enough to be here. And never think less of yourself. People will always take you on the merit that they see, and not based on what somebody else has said to them. So yeah, never doubt yourself. And also, don't be afraid to speak to authority figures. Because what I've learned in the past year is that they often also are a little bit not, I don't want to say slow in the uptake, but they are a little bit wary when it comes to emerging technologies and stuff like that. So we are kind of the experts, if you want to call it that. We are the forerunners in that. So don't be afraid to say to tell someone, hey, look, maybe there is a different way to do something, or maybe there's a more efficient way to do something, and let it be known. My line managers are the first people to tell you, look, I don't know, this is not my area of expertise, please will you explain it to me. And you can take it down to as low a level as you want, or as high a level as you want, and people will relate more to that, and people actually respond better to you when they can see that you know what you're talking about and that you're passionate about what you're talking about. Also, just looking at the industry in general, there's a lot of ground that we specifically have to cover when it comes to data science, because we're still at the very, very, very beginning of it. There's a lot of data solutions that we need to look at, and we need to pioneer through it, and don't just let all your ideas run it through. You never know what's going to be like the next big thing. So just go for it, go for your dreams. Don't give up when you like discourage and stuff. I mean, I know I applied so many different places for a job after I graduated. I was literally at home for like 3 months. And don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. I never thought I'd get onto a data science internship. I mean, I graduated with economics. And literally the only thing that pushed me through was the fact that I had statistics. But also it worked to my advantage because I knew I kind of knew nothing. I had a little bit of coding experience, but not a lot. So it gave me a blank canvas to work from, and it also allowed me to implement solutions from a financial point of view as well, especially given that it's the bank. So don't ever think you're underqualified to apply for something. Even if you don't get the job, you might be well suited for something else that's in there. So yeah, that's my little keepsake.
Thank you to both of you for that. I think that's some really inspiring and encouraging words of advice there. So I want to wrap up, but I wanted to ask if, and again, I'll ask both of you, if somebody does want to participate in the graduate program or in Standard Bank's learnership program, how would they find out about it? Where would they apply? When would they apply, if you know that? And Zahra, maybe you can start.
I know that the learnerships generally start coming out at around August. The links will generally be out in around August. So just keep checking the Standard Bank website. It will be under the careers tab that you'll find all the internships and graduate programs there as well. But yeah, the marketing team generally, they will post on like Instagram and Facebook and all of them. Just there are a few people where they want you. There are a few scams where they kind of take the ads and then the thing. But our fraud prevention team is like on it all the time. So just be wary. So generally stick to the website. I would say is definitely your best bet to apply.
Okay, thanks. And you said around August.
Yeah.
Okay. And on your side, Lulama, on the graduate program?
Yeah, so Zahra pretty much covered everything. So the graduate programs have different sort of starting times. I would say the first one would probably open up around April, May. So just keep checking the website. The one I applied for opened up around was it June, July, yes. So then that's where I applied for the data science graduate program. So you just keep checking from May onwards, because they all have different sort of opening times and they all have different closing times. And the best place to go is the website. You'll never go wrong with the website because they have all the dates there and they sort of have mini descriptions of what each program entails. So just go there and read up. They do post on social networks like Zahra said, Facebook, Instagram, but just always confirm that information by going to check on the website. Yeah, thank you.
You're on mute.
Paul, you're on mute.
I'm on mute all the time. Sorry. I'm just looking in the channel, and I've seen a few questions. So let me just have a look before you guys go. Let me see if there's anything that you can answer. Okay. So there's a question here from Ben who said, "Nice to see you guys," and he's asking if Standard Bank's internships or jobs are on offer remotely, or if it's something that you have to travel to a specific city to participate in. Do you know?
We've all been working from home. They've actually told us that it's not likely that we'll go back into the office. I haven't been to the office since I started. Really, I only went in when I needed my laptop to be upgraded. But other than that, almost everything is remote. I mean, and this sounds rather weird, but last year I didn't take any leave because there wasn't any reason for me to take leave. I work from home as and when I please, unless there's major meetings that I need to attend. But I mean, as long as I get the work done, I mean, we're pretty flexible that way. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, if I could just add to that.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, Paul. Yes, so I started working in the office for the first maybe 2 months of the program, and then thereafter we went full remotely. So everything we've been doing remotely. So I think there's definitely space for that. You just need to find the right person to sort of talk to and who can give you the correct information. But everything is just remotely, everything.
And as I understand, Ben, to just add to that, as I understand, Standard Bank operates in, I think, 14 African countries. So I'm sure there would be opportunities for remote work from all around Africa. Then I have another comment here from Chisomo asking just what are these learnerships and graduate programs. So Chisomo, I'll answer that myself, just to let you know that as Zahra and Lulama told us earlier, you can go have a look on the Standard Bank website or follow their social media channels, and you'll find out more about the learnerships and graduate programs that they offer. So you can either have a look at the website or their social media. And then I'll just, there we go. So Josh is asking about the specific website for the programs. Joshua, I'll follow up after our conversation, and I'll add a link in the chat. So thank you to both of you for showing up this morning and sharing your experience. I really appreciate your time. If you would, once we finish this chat, if you would just send me a message, you can use the StreamYard, the back end of StreamYard. There's a private chat button. If you could just send me your social media handles so that we can just share about this chat on our platforms as well, just to make sure you're acknowledged for that. But once again, thank you very much. Any final words from the two of you before we finish off?
Lulama, you want to go first?
I'm trying to think of something nice to say. Okay, I'll just say, even right now in your varsity career, and when you start your new jobs, always just show up and put the best version of yourself. Be true to yourself, and always be willing to learn. I think it's very important for you to know that, the graduate program, and I think any other graduate program or learnership program is designed for you to succeed. It's designed for you to flourish. You just need to let the process take its course, but also just make sure you put the best version of yourself in that. Thank you.
Fantastic. And from you, Zahra?
So I'm going to echo the words that our CEO said to me on Friday. He was on a call with us. It was our staff meeting, and he had said, I had asked him, did he have any advice for learners specifically, and he said, don't stick to one path. Data science might be the path that you're passionate about, but don't close yourself off to other things in life. Like I said, with me specifically, it's both a business component and a data science component. But always explore your passions. You never know. I mean, literally, we're in a phase of what the jobs that exist today may not exist tomorrow. So you never know. Roles can be combined and things like that. So don't close yourself off to your other passions as well.
Brilliant. And I totally agree with that. I'm not doing the work I do now. It's not what I studied, and I'm only here because I followed my passion. So I think that's great advice. Thank you again to both of you, and please do just leave me your social media handles. And goodbye for now.